Hello. In the last video, I showed that there are strong evidences that show that there is a creator of the universe. In this video, I'm going to talk about more about the qualities or characteristics of a true creator. So first, I'm going to talk about imaginary ideas of some people about the creator. I mean, those ideas are wrong. I can prove it one by one. So, for example, many people think that there can be more than one God, and some people think God might require maintenance. This is mostly the case of human beings or statues, when people worship human beings or statues. So, God has a family, there can be more than one God, and those are equivalent in their infinite capabilities. So, these are some of the imaginary ideas people have, and I'm going to talk about how those ideas are wrong. So the first idea people might have is that there can be more than one God. So think of the situation of two people planning on how to spend their day. I'm going to talk about two brothers, twin brothers. So one brother is saying, I'll stay home all day long, and the other one is saying, I'm going hiking. So those are two different activities, not the same activity, right? One is going hiking and one is staying home. So one has to be better than the other. If two things are not same, one has to be better than the other. They cannot be at the same level at the same time. So that proves that there cannot be two creators, because if there are two creators, two different creators, they are making different decisions, they are making different choices. And if one choice is better than the other, the one who has a poorer choice cannot really be a creator. A creator is someone who has the best choice. So there cannot be a second creator. So that is wrong. There cannot be more than one God. And anything less than the best one cannot be the creator. So that proves that he is one and only. The second imagination people have is that God might require maintenance. This is mostly the case of statues and prophets. So statues is that, so think about it. Statues are made of what? They're made of stone or rocks, right? And those are not living. The statue is not living. The statue is not wandering around. It cannot walk. It cannot sit. It cannot do anything. It requires maintenance. If someone comes with a hammer and breaks it, it cannot defend itself. And also, if you keep a statue in a room for long, it will acquire dirt. It will acquire dust. You have to clean it yourself. A statue cannot clean itself. So it requires some maintenance. How can a creator who is all powerful require maintenance? So that is not possible. The second point is that prophets require food to survive. If people are saying that someone is born and he is a god, that is absolutely impossible. Because if someone is born, then he is a human being and he requires food to survive. How can God, who is all powerful, require food to survive? He doesn't require anything. A God is someone who doesn't require anything. He doesn't require food. And if you don't give food to a prophet, he will die. Because he's a human being. He's made of blood and flesh. He ages, he gets older. If you don't give food to prophet, he will die. If someone stabs prophet, they will die. Because they're blood and flesh. The prophets cannot be God. God is someone who is all powerful, who can defend himself, who doesn't need food to survive. If he doesn't remain without food for years, for millions of years, forever, he won't die. He is so powerful. So that cannot be God. Prophets cannot be God. So God is someone who can create, maintain, and destroy other things, and at the same time, no one created it and no one can destroy it. Because if God is never created, he can never be really destroyed. Someone which is not created can never be destroyed. And he is self-sufficient. So he doesn't require maintenance from you. He maintains you, but he doesn't require maintenance from you. So that is wrong. God might require maintenance. That is wrong idea. the eternal refugee. So what does it prove? That God is the eternal refugee, means everyone depends on God, but God doesn't depend on anyone. And that's what a true God is supposed to be, right? So in the also in the last point, many people might think that okay, God is independent, I'm independent too. No, you are not independent. You know why? Because if you are really independent, that a God, it's not possible for a God to exist. Because God is someone who has power over you. If God doesn't have power over you, and if you are so independent, then that is not really a God. A God is someone who has power over you. You are dependent on it, and He is not dependent on you. So you are not truly independent. You depend on God. If you think that you are independent, then there is no God. And I proved in my first video that what are the strong evidences that show that there is a God. So if there has to be a God, you have to depend on it. Because if you are independent, again, then God doesn't have power over you. Then that's not really a God. So God is someone on whom everyone is dependent, but He is independent of everyone. So the third idea people might have is that God has a family. I mean, He can give birth to a son, or He has taken birth from a son. Sorry, He has taken birth from someone. That is not possible, because think about it. You give birth to a child, and that child grows up, he gets educated, he manages many things, he manages his family, he manages his business, and many things he is better than you. Maybe you are better than him in some respect. For example, you are better than him when it comes to cooking, but your son is better than you when it comes to running a business. So you both differ in some ways, right? And if your son is better than you, even in one thing, if your son is better than you, you are not real. Then that you are not really the best one. As a God is someone who is best in everything, in everything. If he is giving birth to a son, then that son has similar characteristics as his dad, and in some respect he will be better. If he's better, then the first one is not really a God. So it's not possible for God to give birth to a son. And God himself is not begotten, means he didn't take birth from someone. You know why? Because if someone takes birth, so think about it. If someone be, is begotten, means you take birth, let's say 20 years back. So if you take birth 20 years back, do you know what happened 40 years back? You don't know. Did you experience the events which happened 40 years back? No. So God is someone who is all experienced. He experienced all the events that occurred in this universe. He experienced everything. Nothing is beyond his knowledge. Nothing is beyond his experience. So how can someone who took birth even 100 years back or 1,000,000 years back can be God? Because if someone took birth 1,000,000 years back, he doesn't know what happened 2,000,000 years back. He is not experienced. He didn't experience the events which happened 2,000,000 years back. So he's not really a God. So God is someone who is all experienced, and he knows everything. He experienced everything. So he neither begets nor is born. So God is someone who is all knowledgeable. He knows everything that happened in the universe, and he is he nothing is beyond his knowledge. So that is God. So God has a family. That is wrong, because he is someone he neither begets nor is born. The fourth idea people might have, there can be more than one God. Okay, some people think that, okay, I understand, but what is the, can you please talk about the possibility that there are two gods and they are both infinite in their capabilities? So if that is the case, then what will happen, you know? The laws of science will conflict with each other. What do I mean by laws of science would conflict? So let's say in the morning, if there are two gods with infinite capabilities, in the morning you will see the grass green, and after 1 hour you will see the grass blue. Because if there are two different gods, one god will say, okay, this time it's green, and the other god will say, no, I want it blue. I don't want it to be green, I want it blue. So laws of physics will conflict with each other. One god will say to that the sun will rise in the east, and the other god will say no, it will rise in the west. Do you see laws of physics conflicting with time? That is not possible, right? So if laws of physics are not conflicting, it shows the evidence that there's one god and the laws of physics are from him. So that's why it's not conflicting. If there are two gods, each one will conquer its own land, and there will be conflict, and the whole thing will be so non-coherent. But the whole universe is so coherent; it follows the same laws of science. That proves there's just one god. And if someone, let's say there are two gods, and one god is controlling 5 planets, the other god is controlling another 5 planets. That is not possible. God is someone who should control all the planets, not just 5 or 6. So there cannot be two gods, for they have to differ in some way, and to differ in perfection is to be less than perfect and not be God. God coexisting with infinite strength is not a possibility. One needs to have the capability to destroy all others, and at the same time remain indestructible to be truly infinite. So again, think about two gods who are infinite in their own ways. And God is someone who is indestructible. If you can destroy someone, then it's not really a god, it is a fake god. A true god is someone who is indestructible. You cannot destroy it, but it can destroy everything else. So there cannot really be two gods who are indestructible. Because so let's say the possibility, the first god is indestructible and can destroy other things. The second god is also indestructible and can destroy other things. Is that possible? That is not possible, because if the second god is really indestructible himself and can destroy other things, he can destroy the first god too. If he can destroy the first god is not really indestructible, so that is not possible. So God is someone who is himself indestructible but can destroy other things. So that is not possible. That is not possible. Again, God is just once, and there is nothing in the same standard or nothing equivalent to him, nor is there to him any equivalent. So these are the 4 characteristics of God. He is one and only. It talks about the quantity. How many gods are there? There's just one God. He is one and only. And he is the eternal refugee. Means he has power over everything, but no one has power over it. Everyone wants shelter and food from it, but it doesn't want shelter or food from anyone. He neither begets nor is born, because if he gives birth to someone, that son might be equivalent in some characteristics as the God, and that is not possible, because God is someone who is the best. No one can exceed God in any quality, nor is to him any equivalent. It's not possible, right? Because God has to be someone who can destroy everything else, but himself he is indestructible. So it is not possible to be equivalent to God. So this all proves that there is just one God, and this 4 ayahs are taken from the Surah Al-Ikhlas from 112th chapter of the Quran. Next video, I'm going to talk about more about like what is the true qualities of one and only Creator. Thank you, guys.